shift occurring in the atmosphere right now, a specific density in the air that you have likely felt but perhaps could not quite name. It is the weight of anticipation, the heavy, electric silence that precedes a massive thunderclap. We are approaching a date marked on the spiritual calendar, December 21st, not merely as a change of season, but as a profound turning point in the narrative of your life. For a very long time, you have walked a path that felt solitary, often confusing, and filled with resistance that seemed disproportionate to your actions. You have carried the label of the chosen one, not as a badge of honor, but as a burden of isolation. But the silence of heaven is about to break. We are standing on the precipice of a revelation that will explain every closed door, every tear shed in secret, and every moment you felt completely invisible. If you have ever sat on the edge of your bed in the middle of the night, head in your hands, asking the ceiling, "Why me? Why is my road so difficult when I have tried so hard to be good?" then you are exactly where you need to be. You have watched others breeze through doors that were slammed in your face. You have seen people with less integrity rise faster, while you, who have guarded your heart and tried to walk in truth, seem to be stuck in a holding pattern. The question has burned in your spirit. God, if I am chosen, why do I feel so forgotten? This message is the answer to that question. It is the confirmation that what you thought was a breakdown was actually a divine setup. If you are ready to understand the architecture of your destiny and finally see why the path had to be this way, I invite you to subscribe to the channel right now. Join this community of souls who are awakening to their true purpose, because the journey from here on requires wisdom, and we are walking it together. To understand what is coming on December 21st, we must first validate the pain of where you have been. Being chosen by God is rarely a glamorous experience in the beginning. It is a crushing one. There is a misconception that divine favor means an easy life, a path strewn with rose petals and constant applause. But you know the truth. You know that the mark of the chosen is often a mark of friction. You have felt like a misfit in your own family, a stranger in your own circle of friends. It is as if you were born with a frequency that irritated the demons in other people, causing them to reject you before they even knew you. This is the first sign that the vindication coming is specifically for you. You have endured a season of unexplained isolation. It wasn't that you were antisocial, it was that God was hiding you. Consider the olive. For the olive to release its oil, it must be pressed, it must be crushed under significant weight. If the olive could speak, it would scream in the midst of the pressing, wondering what it did to deserve such pressure. It would look at the grapes on the vine, basking in the sun, and wonder why its own existence is defined by this heavy stone. But the crushing is not punitive, it is purposeful. The pressure is the only way to extract the essence, the valuable oil that heals, soothes, and fuels the light. You have been in the press. The financial struggles, the relationships that ended without closure, the stagnation in your career despite your best efforts. This was the stone. And the reason God allowed the stone to sit on you for so long is that the oil you carry is of a rare and potent purity. He could not afford for you to be shallow. He could not afford for you to be like everyone else. This brings us to a profound realization about the nature of this delay. You have likely felt that you are behind in life. You look at the timelines of your peers, the houses bought, the accolades won, the stability achieved, and you feel a pang of anxiety. I am late, you whisper to yourself. I have missed my window. But this is where the mystery deepens. In the divine economy, timing is not linear. It is kairos, a qualitative moment of opportunity. The bamboo tree spends 5 years growing underground, developing a root system so complex and deep that it seems to the observer that nothing is happening. For 5 years, the farmer waters the dirt. To the neighbors, the farmer looks foolish. Why do you water the ground where nothing grows? They ask. But in the 5th year, Once the roots are established, the bamboo shoots up to 80 feet in 6 weeks. You are in the 5th year. You are in the pre-growth explosion phase. The delay was not a denial, it was structural reinforcement. If God had given you the platform, the wealth, or the influence 5 years ago, the weight of it would have crushed you, because your root system, your character, your reliance on Him, your wisdom, was not yet deep enough to hold it. The isolation you felt was God protecting you from premature exposure. He hid you in the quiver like a polished arrow. An arrow must be pulled backward to be shot forward. The further back it is pulled, the more tension it experiences, but also the farther and faster it will fly. You have been pulled back. You have felt the tension. You have felt the strain of the bowstring. On December 21st, the fingers of the archer are beginning to release. As we navigate this understanding, I want you to pause and reflect on your own pullback moments. Have you felt that tension where life seems to be dragging you in the opposite direction of your dreams? If this resonates with your spirit, take a moment to like this video. It's a small signal that you are still standing, still in the bow, ready to be launched. The reason God is about to prove why He chose you is that the world needs the specific solution you carry. But to carry a solution, you first had to understand the problem intimately. This is why your suffering has been so specific. If you are called to heal the brokenhearted, you had to have your heart shattered. If you are called to bring financial wisdom and abundance, you likely had to stare at an empty bank account and learn to trust God for your daily bread. If you are called to lead, you had to learn to follow in the dark. This is the principle of the wounded healer. Your authority does not come from a textbook. It comes from the scars that have healed. When you speak, people listen, not because you are eloquent, but because you carry the weight of survival. Think of the story of Joseph. He was given a dream of greatness, a vision where even the stars bowed to him. But the path to that dream went directly through a pit, then slavery, and then a prison cell. For years, Joseph must have questioned the dream. Did I imagine it? Was it a hallucination? But in the silence of the prison, Joseph was learning administration. He was learning to interpret the hidden things. He was learning humility. When the moment came, in a single day, he went from a prisoner to the Prime Minister of Egypt. He didn't have time to campaign. He didn't have time to build a marketing strategy. God created a problem, Pharaoh's dream, that only Joseph could solve. This is what is happening for you. God is allowing situations to arise in your sphere of influence that only you have the wisdom to solve. The vindication coming on December 21st is not about you shouting, "Look at me." It is about the world turning to you and saying, "We need you." The doors that were locked will open from the inside. The people who rejected you will circle back, not out of pity, but out of necessity. They will recognize the light that has been cultivated in your darkness. But here is where it gets even more mysterious and perhaps a bit shocking. The very things you thought disqualified you, your past mistakes, your family background, your lack of traditional credentials, are the very things God is going to use to distinguish you. The world looks for the polished and the perfect. God looks for the broken and the willing. He does this so that when the elevation happens, no one can say they made it because they were smart or they made it because they were rich. They will have to say, "This is the hand of God." Your elevation is designed to be a billboard for His power. Let's look at the modern-day blueprints of this divine strategy. Think of Oprah Winfrey. She was fired from her first job as a television reporter because she was deemed unfit for television. She was told she was too emotional, that she got too involved with the stories. That rejection could have ended her career. But the very thing she was rejected for, her emotional connection, her empathy, became her superpower. It became the reason she connected with millions. God took the flaw and made it the foundation of her empire. Or consider Tyler Perry, who spent years sleeping in his car, writing plays that no one came to see. He was humiliated, broke, and seemingly delusional. But in that car, in that solitude, he was forging a voice that would eventually own a studio larger than Warner Brothers, Paramount, and Disney combined. The silence was not empty, it was a forge. You are in good company. The feeling of being unfit or rejected is actually a prerequisite for the kind of destiny you carry. If you fit in perfectly with the world as it is, you would have no motivation to change it. God had to make you uncomfortable in the present so you would be compelled to build the future. Now let us speak about the specific energy of December 21st. In the natural world for the Northern Hemisphere, this is the winter solstice, the darkest day of the year, but also the turning point where the light begins to return. It is the death of the old cycle and the birth of the new solar year. Spiritually, this mirrors exactly what God is doing in your life. You have walked through the darkening days. You have seen the shadows lengthen, but you have reached the nadir, the bottom point. The physics of the Spirit dictate that what goes down when anchored in God must come up. The 21st represents the shift from preparation in the dark to manifestation in the light. God is about to set a table before you in the presence of your enemies. This is one of the most powerful images in Scripture. Notice it does not say He will remove your enemies. It says He will prepare a table in their presence. Why? Because your vindication needs witnesses. Those who whispered behind your back, those who doubted your vision, those who actively tried to sabotage your progress, they need to see the favor of God upon your life. Not so you can gloat, for the chosen one walks in humility, but so that they can see that God is real. Your success is an evangelistic tool. When they see you blessed after all you have been through, their worldview will be shaken. They will have to ask, what is the source of their strength? This vindication will come in 3 specific waves. The first wave is internal clarity. The fog that has clouded your mind, the indecision, the self-doubt, it is going to lift. You will wake up with a sharp sense of direction. You will know who you are. The imposter syndrome that has plagued you will evaporate in the heat of God's affirmation. You will stop asking for permission to exist and start walking in your authority. The second wave is external alignment. You will notice coincidences that are mathematically impossible. You will meet someone at a coffee shop who holds the key to your next project. You will receive an email out of the blue regarding an opportunity you thought was dead. Resources will find you. This is the magnetic power of the chosen. When you were in the hiding season, you had to chase things. In the revealing season, things chase you. As Scripture says, blessings will come upon you and overtake you. Imagine that image. Blessings running faster than you can run, tackling you with favor. If you are ready to be overtaken by these blessings, if you are tired of the chase and ready for the attraction, type, I am ready to receive in the comments below. Let this be a declaration of your shift in posture. The third wave is the restoration of lost time. This is the promise of the years the locusts have eaten. You may feel you have wasted 10 years in a bad marriage, or 5 years in a dead-end job, or decades in addiction or depression. God is a redeemer of time. He can do in 6 months what would take a normal human career 10 years to accomplish. He's going to accelerate your path to make up for the years of the pruning. Do not calculate your future based on your past velocity. You are switching from walking to flying. The math is different in the air. However, with this elevation comes a stern warning and a necessary responsibility. The platform God is building for you is not a hammock, it is a watchtower. He is proving why He chose you so that you can do the work. The reason you went through the fire was to become fireproof, so you can go back into the flames and pull others out. You are being blessed to be a blessing. If you hoard the vindication, if you use it solely for ego, the flow will stop. The river only stays fresh if it flows out. If it stops flowing, it becomes a stagnant swamp. You must also be prepared for the fact that as you rise, your circle will change. This is often the hardest part for the chosen ones. You are loyal. You want to bring everyone with you, but you cannot put a whale in a swimming pool. It will die, and it will break the pool. Some people in your life are equipped for the shallow end, and you are heading for the deep ocean. You must love them, but you cannot let them anchor you. As God proves his choice of you, some people will be offended by your growth. They liked you better when you were broken because your brokenness made them feel superior or comfortable. Your healing will trigger their insecurities. Let them go. The space they leave is necessary for the new destiny helpers God is sending. There is a mystery in the story of David that is often overlooked. When Samuel came to anoint the new king, David wasn't even in the room. He was out in the fields, tending sheep. His own father didn't think to call him. He brought out all the other brothers, the tall ones, the strong ones, the ones who looked like kings. But God rejected them all. God stopped the entire prophetic process until David was brought in. Think about that. The prophet Samuel said, "We will not sit down until he comes here." The entire destiny of a nation was on pause, waiting for the one who was working in the dirt. You have been in the fields. You have been smelling like sheep, working hard, unappreciated, unseen. But the king is in the house, and the oil is in the horn. The universe is holding its breath, waiting for you to walk into the room. The delay wasn't because you were forgotten. It was because the coronation cannot happen without you. The party can't start until the guest of honor arrives. And you, my friend, are the guest of honor in God's great plan for this season. This December 21st, expect the summons. It might come as a sudden realization, a phone call, a shift in your circumstances, or a deep, abiding peace that settles over your chaos. But know this, the silence is over. God is clearing his throat. He is about to speak your name in rooms you haven't even entered yet. But this requires your participation. You cannot walk into this new season with the mindset of the victim. You must drop the heavy garments of why me and put on the garment of praise. You must begin to walk with your head high, not in arrogance, but in the confidence of one who knows whose child they are. A prince does not beg for bread. A prince knows the palace is his home. You have been living like a pauper spiritually, begging for scraps of validation from people who are spiritually bankrupt. Stop it. Look in the mirror and see what God sees. See the warrior. See the survivor. See the chosen one. The shock that is coming is the realization of how powerful you actually are. You have thought of yourself as weak because you were under attack. But you were under attack because you are dangerous to the darkness. The enemy does not waste ammunition on empty targets. The intensity of your battle is the proof of the magnitude of your destiny. If you weren't a threat, you would have been left alone. The fact that you are still here, still breathing, still hoping, is the greatest middle finger to the darkness that tried to consume you. As we approach this pivotal date, I want you to engage in a small act of faith. Share this message with someone who you know has been struggling, someone who feels like they are drowning. Be the agent of hope for them. By sharing light, you increase the light in your own life. Remember the story of the Chinese bamboo tree we mentioned. The miracle isn't just that it grows 80 feet. The miracle is that the ground looked dead for 5 years. Your life has looked dormant. People have whispered that your dreams were dead. But God is the God of resurrection. He specializes in bringing dead things back to life. He breathed into dust and created man. He spoke into darkness and created light. He is breathing onto the dry bones of your dreams right now. Can you feel the rattle? Can you hear the sound of bone coming together with bone? That is the sound of your life reassembling. The chaos you have experienced recently, the sudden disruptions, the emotional volatility, is not a sign of things falling apart. It is the sign of things falling into place. When you renovate a house, it looks like a disaster zone, right before the new beauty is revealed. There is dust everywhere. Walls are torn down. Pipes are exposed. If a stranger walked in, they would think the house is being destroyed. But the architect knows he is making room for the expansion. God is the architect. The demolition phase is over. The construction phase is beginning. On December 21st, the reveal begins. God will prove why He chose you. He will prove that your sensitivity was actually discernment. He will prove that your stubbornness was actually holy perseverance. He will prove that your loneliness was actually consecration. He will prove that your poverty was a lesson in stewardship. Nothing was wasted. Every tear was collected. Every prayer was recorded. So straighten your spine. Wipe your face. The mourning season is officially concluding. The joy of the morning is not just a poetic phrase. It is a spiritual promise. You are about to step into a level of alignment where you will look back at the struggle and say, "Thank you." You will thank God for the doors He closed because they would have led you to a lesser destiny. You will thank God for the people who left because they would have anchored you to the past. You will thank God for the silence because it taught you to hear His whisper. This is your moment. Do not shrink back. Do not apologize for your blessing. Wear your favor well. The world is waiting for the true you to emerge. The chosen one is no longer hidden. You are revealed. As you move forward from this moment, keep your eyes open for the signs. They will be subtle at first, a number sequence, a song on the radio, a chance encounter, but they will grow in intensity. Trust your intuition, for it is the voice of the Holy Spirit guiding you. You have the map inside you. You have the compass in your heart. And before you go, I have a question for you to ponder in the quiet of your heart. If you knew that you could not fail, because God Himself is holding your hand, what is the first step you would take tomorrow morning? Think on that. Let that vision pull you forward. If this message has watered the seeds in your soul, if you feel the stirring of the bamboo shoots ready to break the surface, please leave a like and turn on the notifications. We are building a fortress of faith here, and your presence strengthens the walls. Walk in peace, walk in power, and watch what God does on December 21st. He will prove it. He will surely prove it. You are chosen, you are loved, and you are ready. The day is coming when the sun will stand still for you, just as it did for Joshua, until your victory is complete. The battle has been long, but the spoil will be great. Receive it now. It is yours. The wait is over. Characters with spaces, 7789, script. But let us go deeper into the nature of this silence you have endured. It was not merely an absence of noise, it was a protective incubation. Think of the seed buried in the dark earth. To the seed, the darkness feels like a burial. It feels like the end. The pressure of the soil is immense, crushing, suffocating. If the seed had a voice, it would scream for help. It would beg for the light. Yet it is in that very crushing darkness that the hard outer shell breaks open. That shell had to break. It was the ego, the old identity, the limitations of who you thought you were. The breaking was painful, yes. It felt like a death, but it was the only way the life inside could be released. You have not been buried, you have been planted. And the season of breaking is now shifting into the season of sprouting. This brings us to a profound realization about the loneliness you have felt. It is common for those walking this path to feel like a stranger in their own family, an alien in their workplace, or an outcast in their community. You may have asked yourself 1,000 times, what is wrong with me? Why can't I just fit in? Why does everything feel so superficial? The answer is simple, yet it changes everything. You were never meant to fit in. You were designed to stand out. You are what is often called the black sheep, but in spiritual terms, the black sheep is actually the golden child who woke up. You are the cycle breaker. You are the one sent to disrupt the dysfunction that has plagued your lineage for generations. Consider the dynamics of a dysfunctional system. It relies on everyone playing a role, everyone keeping the secrets, everyone maintaining the illusion that everything is fine. When you started to awaken, you stopped playing your role. You started speaking the truth, even if only by your presence. Your light began to irritate their demons. This is not a judgment on them. It is a description of energy. High frequency agitates low frequency. When you walk into a room carrying the vibration of truth and transformation, those who are clinging to lies and stagnation will feel uncomfortable. They will lash out, they will withdraw, or they will try to make you feel small. This is not personal, it is energetic physics. If this resonates with your soul, if you have felt like the outlier who was actually the pioneer, I invite you to subscribe to the channel right now. Join this community of cycle breakers and light bearers. You are no longer walking this path alone. We are walking it together. Understanding this energetic mismatch is crucial for your next step. You must stop trying to explain yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You cannot translate your soul to a language they do not speak. The Bible speaks of not casting your pearls before swine. This sounds harsh, but look at the metaphor. Swine do not know the value of a pearl. They will trample it in the mud, and then they will turn and attack you. Your dreams, your visions, your spiritual insights, these are your pearls. They are precious. They are sacred. When you share them with people who are not on your frequency, you are not being vulnerable. You are being wasteful. You are dissipating your power. Part of this new chapter involves mastering the art of silence. The lighthouse does not run around the island looking for boats to save. It simply stands and shines. The boats find the light. Up until now, you may have been the chaser, chasing approval, chasing understanding, chasing connection. That dynamic is flipping. You are becoming the lighthouse. You will find that as you anchor yourself in your purpose, the right people, your soul tribe, will begin to navigate toward you. They will see your light from a distance. You won't have to convince them of your worth. They will recognize it instantly. This transition also requires you to reframe your past suffering. We often look at our trauma as a disadvantage, as something that damaged us. But looking through the lens of the chosen one, we see that the trauma was the training ground. Let's look at the archetype of Joseph. He was betrayed by his own brothers, thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, and falsely imprisoned for years. It was a trajectory of absolute unfairness, but every step down was actually a step forward. The pit taught him humility. Potiphar's house taught him administration. The prison taught him patience and interpretation of dreams. When the moment came for him to rule Egypt and save his people, he was ready, not because he had studied in a palace, but because he had survived the dungeon. Your struggles have given you a depth of empathy, a resilience of spirit, and a wisdom that cannot be taught in books. You have a PhD in overcoming. If you are realizing now that your scars are actually your stripes of honor, take a moment to hit the like button. Let it be a signal to the universe that you accept your training and you are ready for the promotion. Furthermore, we must address the phenomenon of the void. Before this upcoming release of blessings, many of you have been sitting in a strange emptiness. The old life is gone, but the new life hasn't fully arrived. You feel suspended. You have no desire to do the things you used to do. Old hobbies bore you. Old friends feel distant. You might even feel a lack of passion. This is not depression. This is the reset. When a computer installs a massive new operating system, it has to shut down. The screen goes black. It looks dead. But inside, the code is being rewritten. You are in the reboot phase. Do not panic in the void. Do not try to fill the silence with noise. This space is being cleared so that God can fill it with something entirely new. If you fill it with the old clutter, there is no room for the new miracle. Trust the timing of this reboot. The universe is precise. The planets move in exact orbits. The seasons change without fail. Your life is governed by the same divine intelligence. The delay you felt was not a denial. It was a divine pause to ensure your character could sustain your calling. Many people get the blessing before they have the character, and the weight of the blessing crushes them. You have been built to carry the weight of glory. As you prepare for the shift, pay attention to your physical body. You might be experiencing strange symptoms, ringing in the ears, sudden fatigue, changes in sleep patterns, or a desire for lighter foods. These are often somatic manifestations of an energetic upgrade. Your cellular structure is attempting to hold more light. Treat your body with extreme reverence right now. Rest when you need to rest. Drink water. Walk in nature. You are integrating a massive download of spiritual power. Do not force yourself to grind in the old way. The hustle culture is of the 3D world. You are operating in kingdom flow. In the kingdom, we do not strive. We align. There is also a warning here. Beware of the crab mentality. When a single crab tries to escape a bucket, the other crabs will pull it back down. They don't do this out of malice, but out of a collective instinct to keep everything at the same level. As you rise, as you start to succeed, as you start to glow with this new energy, some people from your past will try to pull you back into the bucket. They will bring up your old mistakes. They will say, "Who do